Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of HPU Sports Talk. I'm Wendell Epps, joined alongside tonight by Ava Sames. Ava, it's good to be back. How are you doing?
No, it's good. I had a nice, relaxing spring break. It was nice to just get away for a little, but now we're back and sports are in full swing.
Sports are in full swing. During spring break, we had our basketball teams play. We had our lacrosse teams play, baseball. Let's start with basketball, though, since our season just unfortunately ended. Conference tournament, both teams put up a really good fight, men's and women's. Let's start with the men's side. Playing at the Bojangles Coliseum was a lot of fun. Won an awesome overtime thriller against Hampton, but then lost to Winthrop, the defending Big South champs from last season. Were you able to catch any of the games? What did you think?
Yeah, I did. I was able to catch just a little clip of it. But, when you play a team like Hampton and you win in overtime like that, and you're coming off such a high, the team doesn't get a lot of overtime wins, as we've seen all season. And coming off of that, I don't know if they were too amped up. I don't know if they were overexcited, but they just couldn't pull it out. And it's a shame because they really had an opportunity to. And just coming back after their losing in the first half, they really just couldn't put it out in the first half, and second half comes around and we see the team that we saw at the second half of the season, and they just couldn't bring it back to what they needed to.
Yeah, it was tough, but I think the future still is really bright with High Point. Zach Austin broke out of nowhere this year. John Michael Wright, another stellar year. Jaden House rising up. So men's basketball team, hopefully next season too, once we get Emil Flowers back in action, new recruits, maybe some new transfers. What do you think the team needs though for next season?
Team definitely needs some tall guys to get those offensive and defensive rebounds. We've seen it all season. These guys we don't have a tall team, and they're not going up enough, and they're not retrieving any sort of offensive rebounds, really, never mind defensive. And I think that's something that's really going to elevate the game for them. They are shooting free throws really well recently, and I think that needs to continue on. And then behind the arc, I think there needs to be some improvement there also. I
definitely think a nice 7-footer on this High Point basketball team would pay a lot of wonders.
7 would be nice.
Yeah, give John Michael Wright somebody to play with, run that pick and roll situation.
Definitely.
I think that'd be really cool. So we'll see. And then I think a nice little shooter off the bench also wouldn't be too bad. So
you talked about the transfer portal too, really quickly. I want to touch on that. Do you think that we might get anyone snagged away from us for next season?
It's tough because the Big South, just the way the conference is, it's known to be a conference that sort of is a developmental conference where players come play, have stellar performances, then sort of elevate to higher power conferences, which I don't blame them. If you're trying to make it to the professionals like the NBA, you definitely want to be able to put yourself in the best situation. I'll say this, I wouldn't be surprised if any of our top scorers necessarily transfer, but at the same time, we did really build something special this season. I feel like this season was just so unique with the opening of the new arena. Our teams were starting to get in a groove. We had record attendance at the Longwood game being on ESPNU. So hopefully that's enough to convince some of our players to stay, but if they transfer, it's just part of the game. We just got to continue to live with it. But moving on to the women's side, though, that team.
I love the women's team.
I love the women's team, too. They are so loyal. You could just sense it every time you see them. They just probably, honestly, I think they have the best chemistry out of any sports team here at HPU.
You can clearly see the combination of love on the court. And every single time that the ladies step out, they are together, and they each know what they have to contribute in order to get it done.
Yeah. I just, calling all their games this season was honestly just such a blast. Talking with them in the press conference room and, all the players. Especially the way they played without Skylar Curran this season was just amazing. They stuck together. You had freshman Nakia Terrell just go off.
Nakia Terrell is a stellar performer. She is insane in every aspect. Even in their last game, she put up 19 points, and she's a freshman. She can only grow so much, and I can't wait to see her journey through these next 3, maybe 4 years.
Definitely. A couple years ago, our freshman year, Cameron Brown was here.
Yeah.
She was really good. She's looking like a little mini Cameron Brown, to be honest with you, running around the floor.
I never thought that. That's right.
Very quick, can shoot the basketball, knows how to pass, great basketball IQ for someone that's just a freshman. So it's this is her first year. She's already playing extremely well, has already established herself on the team. She's only going to get better and better.
I can't wait for Skylar Curran to come back and watch that combination between them.
We didn't get to see it much.
We didn't get to see it really almost at all. She did play with her at the very beginning, but not enough. I can't wait for next season to watch them together, because I think everything that they do together is going to mesh well just based off of their styles of play. I think it's going to work really well.
Definitely. And I think coming off, obviously, they had high expectations coming in this season because of last season making it to the tournament. But I think next season, a lot of high hopes for the women's basketball team. Jaden Reitzel, she won't be back next season, unfortunately. She's a grad student, obviously, so she's going to be gone. But I think the extra year of eligibility, helping players like Skylar Kern and Jensen Edwards come back, I think it's going to pay off in huge dividends for sure.
Yeah, Jensen is another one that put up, 2021 at the last couple of games, and she's another stellar performer that we really love having on this High Point women's team.
Definitely, and I want to say this before we transition to our next sport. Basketball teams, for next season, who do you think we can get in the Cobain Center? What opponents would you like to see on both the men's and women's side?
What opponents?
Yes.
Okay, I would really love, I'm from New Jersey, so I would love to see a Rutgers men's basketball here. So that would be really cool, I think. Because I don't think that's such a far-fetched team to ask for, in my opinion. And then, this is far-fetched. I want to see UConn. I want to see the UConn.
Paige Beckers in the Cobain Center.
Beckers in the Cobain Center. Who doesn't want to see
Paige Beckers?
Who doesn't? We couldn't watch her last season when they played them, so maybe next season we can.
UConn High Point rematch? I'd be down for it.
Who wouldn't?
I think we're lucky. We're in the state of North Carolina, so we have a lot of powerhouse schools,
do.
ACC, obviously, Duke, Wake Forest, UNC. So I think that's not unrealistic on either side. I think obviously, generally speaking, revenue-wise, probably the men's side would be able to lure a school like Duke or UNC in. So hopefully we can get it, because that was the first rumor that I ever heard when the arena was in the process of being built, was that we were going to get a big school to come here and play us in year one.
I know. Maybe Michigan State will come down to us.
Maybe Michigan State or Kentucky. You never know.
We've played some interesting teams. Maybe we can get them down instead of us going to them.
Hopefully. And I do have to mention the food in the arena was really good this year.
Really good.
The chicken tenders, I know we talked about it in a previous show.
Yeah, we talk about these chicken tenders.
Yeah.
Especially when we're together at the media.
Exactly.
We talk about the chicken tenders all the time.
Nothing beats it for a magic meal. It's a steal.
They're under our meal plan.
Yeah, exactly.
They're so good. You get drink, fries, and chicken tenders.
You can't beat it. What's one item they should add, though, to the menu?
Well, do they have the burger there?
No, they don't have burgers in the arena.
They should definitely add a burger.
They need to add burgers.
I think a burger would be really good.
I'd be getting burgers and chicken tenders, same meal. I wouldn't even care.
You're there all day.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah, for double headers, it'd be perfect. Chicken tenders for lunch, a nice burger for dinner. I'm down for it.
Yeah. There you go.
All right, well, let's transition over to baseball. So we're going from chicken tenders and burgers to baseball. I think that's a fair transition. So the baseball team, they've had a very interesting schedule to start off the season.
Yeah, they got swept by Jacksonville earlier, and they're only 4-13, and then they just got swept by Kentucky. And it's tough to watch it because you see the players and you watch them and you know that they're good. You can see these pitchers are throwing low to mid 90s. These people are everyone can hit really well. It's so sad to watch them, but it's also the teams that we're playing. We're playing Kentucky, and first game we had a doubleheader on that Friday, and first game they got run ruled, and that was a tough watch. But second game, they were losing, they had nothing, and then all of a sudden in the fifth inning, here they come, they're coming back, and now all of a sudden they're in it, and you can see it, and then they lose it, and they just let it go, and it's so upsetting.
It's tough, but that's always the one thing that fascinates me about baseball is the fact they have these weekend series, so you get to play a team 3 times in a row, so even if you have a bad first game, you can redeem yourself in the second and third game. But I think also watching some of their home games, I know they had Pittsburgh in here last week, that was a big deal. To bring these powerhouse opponents to Willard Stadium. It's definitely making for a lot of people to come to the games, and it's been making for some great broadcasts in ESPN Plus. I know our good friend Harris Eisenberg, he had a great little graphic last week in the broadcast to rank the sandwiches that kind of went viral on baseball social media.
So Yeah, talking about sandwiches for 2 minutes is definitely something that you can do in a baseball broadcast.
See, the unique things about baseball, there's a lot of unique things. A weekend series, this sandwich rankings, like I think it's
Pittsburgh sandwich rankings. It matters.
Yeah, it matters a lot. So I was trying to think what my sandwich ranking list would be. I thought it would be pretty easy to create, but it's honestly kind of hard.
Tell me your top 2 at least. Do you have a top 2?
You know,
no.
I mean, Chick-fil-A obviously has got to be in there, but I don't know if it's top 2 or not.
Yeah.
I do say, have you had Potbelly before?
No.
You've never had Potbelly?
No, I haven't.
Well, in Northern Virginia, there's a lot of Potbellies, and they got this Italian sandwich, nice and hot.
Okay.
Like it's really good. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Wawa's got some good stuff too.
Wawa's always got good stuff. My number 1 sandwich, there's this little sub shop down in Atlantic City, New Jersey. It's literally called Atlantic City Sub Shop. And it's kind of near Egg Harbor Township. The best like rolling chair ever. Rolling chair is basically like an Italian sub. So good. If you're ever in Atlantic City, you got to check it out. It's fantastic.
That sounds really good. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah,
Whoa.
very controversial.
Is a burger a sandwich?
No.
What? Yeah. I feel like more people would say a burger is a sandwich.
I know, I'm very opposite. I don't know. I think it's just the way the bun is. I think I see a sandwich as like bread that's combined. Anyway.
I will disagree with you on that, but
that's okay. A lot of people do, and I'm very used to it.
Yeah, I feel like if we were to survey 100 people on that, I feel like 98 would say no, it's not a sandwich.
I know. I'm very much in the minority.
Yeah, and you and some other crazy person would be like, yeah, I think it actually is a sandwich, you know?
Definitely.
It's cool.
Anyway, baseball is playing West Virginia on Wednesday.
Yes, another big
here
game.
At 4 o'clock in Williard Stadium. And I can't wait. I'm so excited. West Virginia is an exciting team for us to play. I mean, like we were just talking about before, we need big names down here. That's how players get recognized. That's how we get recognized. And it's only going to grow us and grow the school and get more national recognition. And I think that's what we really need.
Exactly. I mean, that's one way we can really keep all of our student athletes here for their entire time is by bringing in these big opponents, so that way they have the opportunity to get exposure playing against these top recruits in the nation. I mean, that's what you want as an athlete. So they're going to be getting that against West Virginia this week. I'm excited for that one. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Me too. And then they got a weekend series at Gardner-Webb, which will be exciting. You know, we haven't done super hot on weekend series yet, but we're working towards it.
That's going to change. You got to have optimism around here. Got to have optimism.
Absolutely.
Yes,
and
because our baseball team, like, we need success. We've seen a lot of great success from all of our other teams recently, but our baseball team, they really deserve it. They work really hard.
Do.
New coaching staff, so hoping for the best.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, definitely. So now let's transition over to lacrosse. You already know I love my lacrosse teams.
You love lacrosse.
I love my lacrosse teams. Let's start
Do you have a favorite?
Do you have a favorite lacrosse team?
Yeah.
High Point University lacrosse.
No, men's or women's?
Oh, no, I can't answer that. I call games for both teams.
I know, that's why.
It'd be unfair for me to choose one over the other.
All right, fine.
It'd be unfair.
Who do you want to start with?
I'm going to let you decide. I'm not, because then you're going to use that as judgment.
All right, let's start with my favorite women's team.
All right. Okay.
So they are in a tough start, winning nothing.
They are in a tough start, but I'll tell you this. During the COVID season, I know it got cut short, but they were off to a slow start too.
They were.
But they were getting ready to turn things around. I could sense it from watching their last game. I remember they played James Madison that season, and like they actually put up a lot of effort against one of the top teams in the nation. And then last season too, kind of a similar slow start, but once they got into Big South play, that was it. And I think same thing's going to happen this year. Big South play is going to hit, and the women's lacrosse team is just going to be rocking and rolling for the rest of the season. I definitely still feel like they have the talent to be crowned Big South champs. They still have Abby Horms on their side.
Yeah,
one of the best players, not just in the conference, but in the nation.
Yeah.
And they're going to be playing UNC here next week. So that is a tough team to play when you're off to a slow start. But
when you're 0-5, and you
not
go
ideal.
To a UNC game.
But it's an opportunity, and no one's really expecting you to do anything. So I think you have the opportunity to really.
I mean, they have an opportunity on Wednesday against Elon to kind of get some momentum and maybe win that game and be like, all right, we got a win under our belts, and we can go into the UNC kind of feeling a little bit better, maybe a little looser, getting some better passing maybe. I mean, some more opportunities, obviously, and capitalizing on those opportunities. I mean, I saw a lot of opportunities that they just couldn't get through, and it's hard to watch because you know that when they do that in different times, they get those. And it's just tough when you watch a women's team this talented and have a 0-5 start.
It's hard. Last season, their problem was finishing games. This season, it seems to be getting off to hot starts and sort of setting the tempo. So they haven't played that many home games, though. They only played the one against Duke. So it's like...
And that was against Duke.
Yeah, it was against Duke, and I'm waiting for them to come back home. Same with the men's team. I'm waiting to see more home lacrosse games so I can get back in the booth and call games for them. But I think they're really going to turn things around soon. And it's a great point you make with the Elon game. I really feel like that's a great opportunity, an in-state rival, to play them, get some momentum on their side. I wish Elon was in the Big South because every time you play Elon in any sport, it's a thriller.
I know. It's because they're right here. They're 30 minutes away. Everyone can feel it. I think everyone kind of senses when it's coming. The vibe is a little different. Everyone kind of gets amped up for it. And I'm excited to see what Wednesday brings.
We need Elon here. We were talking about basketball opponents earlier. That's one we need for men's and women's basketball. I know we had him for women's, and that was honestly probably the most competitive women's basketball game at the Convention Center all season. It was a crazy game, close game. Yeah. So, but let's talk about men's lacrosse now. Men's lacrosse been picking it up.
I know. I want to talk about one particular person, Asher Nolting, because he is getting the most national recognition I think I've ever seen that this school bring, because he is now 15th in points of all time in all NCAA Division I with 306 points. Number one only has 400. And we still have a lot of games left to play. We have a lot of time. He is in his 5th year. This is it for him.
This is it, sadly.
But he's getting up there in points, and I want to ask your opinion on, what do you see out of him? What does he bring to this team that makes him so electric?
He just brings creativity and leadership. Those are the two big qualities that I feel like is the reason why he's as good as he is because obviously when anyone plays high point men's lacrosse team, they know Asher Nolting's a player to stop. But they can't stop him, and that's because he's always bringing something new. You never know what he's going to do on the field. He's someone that's going to use his physicality to his advantage, game in and game out, and I think he's just someone that he honestly just can't be stopped. I really feel like he's just that dominant of a player where he's just a hard guard, and he's someone that's always going to be bringing it for his team. And he just loves this high point men's lacrosse team. He's willing to do whatever it takes to help them win, sacrificing his bodies to get those ground balls, to score goals, and I think the rest of the team just feeds off his energy, and you can sense that on the field. He's really being a great mentor to some of the younger players like Braden Maia. So Asher Nolting, I mean, that guy definitely, like you said, he's getting a lot of national recognition, but it's well-deserved. Some players in college sports, they get the national recognition for different things, sometimes not even for their play, for their TikToks, but, for Asher Nolting, he's someone that I don't know anything about his TikTok status, but I know he's a really good lacrosse player.
He's a big deal on TikTok. I also don't know too much about that, but I know that he is a big deal on TikTok, and he's a big deal around campus.
Yes. He's just a nice guy.
He is nice. He'll stop and talk to you for so long. He's just an all-around great person, great player, great athlete. And like you said, great leader. You watch everyone when they score or whatever, they go to him every single time. They always just look to his approval. And it's not so much that they're like, hey, did I do a good job? It's like they want to celebrate with him versus then just being like, hey, did I do a good job? Because they know that he's going to relish in their accomplishments as well.
Right. And I think the big challenge now for the men's lacrosse team is obviously this season you want to keep utilizing Asher Nolting. You don't want to just put him on the bench and stop using him. But I would like to see the team start to sort of find an identity without him on the field. I know he plays a lot, but at the same time, next season he's not going to be here. So I think finding other guys that can also step up. They have a bright future, great young core, but I think continuing to find that, not just doing it for a couple games, but I think if they can find more consistent attackers to constantly score goals for the team, I think it could pay off in huge dividends.
Yeah, you spoke about Braden Maia. I want to touch on him for a little bit because he's also someone that is scoring a lot, racking up those points. And what do you think he brings in terms of leadership? Because he is kind of on that track to being that leader that people are looking towards.
He is on track. I think for him, last season was his first year with the lacrosse team, and I don't know how any freshman went to college last year because obviously COVID was really at its peak and it was tough. And I think for him that honestly made him more of a competitor, playing in the COVID season, all these protocols, all these testing requirements. But for him, he's just someone that I think on and off the field, he brings a lot of intensity, brings a lot of energy. Similar to Asher Nolting, also brings his own style of creativity. He's had a lot of amazing goals.
Yeah.
Goals that have gone on SportsCenter top 10, which literally, like, I mean, you can't get any better than that. Multiple times.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think he's just someone that, honestly, I know that guy has, someone in his family was like a longtime entertainer at the circus, because that guy like brings like,
he does crazy stuff.
shots. Like,
yeah.
I would love to see him create a YouTube channel where he just like uploads like the most insane lacrosse like trick shots.
He would have like 45 videos.
Yeah. He needs to get on with that if he hasn't already. I think
TikTok.
Cool.
He needs to follow.
He needs to put it on TikTok. Just utilize TikTok.
I mean, you get a lot of likes and followers, so maybe that's the way to go.
Yeah, I mean, athletes are starting to utilize TikTok. I know some professional teams have been pretty hesitant about it. I know college teams as well, but what are your thoughts on that?
With TikTok and using social media,
Do you think like college professional teams start to use them more?
I see it a lot more now. They obviously, I mean, people were on them, but they weren't posting as often. And I think now, as you see more and more athletes starting to use it, people are like, oh, maybe I can do that. And then you start to see the brand deals, you know, with NIL now. That's a whole new thing that people are trying to navigate. And what can I do? What can't I do? And these brands that are reaching out to these very famous TikTok athletes, they're getting a lot of recognition. And I think it's only going to continue to grow. And I don't really see it stopping anytime soon.
I agree with that. I think it's going to be interesting to see what TikTok is going to bring for the future of collegiate professional athletics. But I'm excited for our lacrosse team to take on UNC next week. That's going to be electric. So for the next 7 to 10 days,
UNC,
too. Yeah, that's here. Both games are here. UNC
is here.
They're here.
They're here.
We got to beat them. We got to beat them.
I'll be there. Wendell will be there. You can catch us. I mean, stop us and say hi if you see us. Yeah, we'll definitely be there.
I will be there bright and early, ready to call both games. So it should be a lot of fun. And we got our first track and field meet here at home this weekend too. So I'm excited for that. So the sports are really heating up. Spring season is always a lot of fun. Last season it was obviously completely different because you had all the sports jumbled into one. You had soccer and volleyball trying to get in the door.
Crazy. It was so much.
I can't even believe we actually did that. People here went to all the sporting events.
I mean, we did.
Yeah, I mean, I was working every single one. It was. I don't even know how I did that, to be honest with you. It's just crazy.
It didn't feel crazy until we were in the summer and we were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, we actually did all that. Yeah. So, but I miss soccer and volleyball. It already feels like it's been way too long since we've seen those teams.
Soon enough, it'll be.
It'll be here. So we're looking forward to it. But that's going to do it for today's episode of HPU Sports Talk. Had a lot of fun today. Talked food, talked sports, did it all. Great time for Ava Sames. I'm Wendell Epps. We'll catch you next time right here on HPU Sports Talk.